Masters of reality, going beyond what's on TV.
What up? I'm Ben, and we're back for another episode of Masters of Reality. I'm sitting here with somebody who I think could be the Liam Gallagher of this generation, a friend who's always on tour. We go back. She's an occasional big sister. This is my friend Missy, also known as Marisa, from the band Mannequin Pussy. She rips. What up, homie?
Hi, Ben.
How you doing?
Oh, this is so natural. I love it.
It is, right? Yeah. Meant for the camera. Do you want to hear what my opening was that I was thinking about all day?
Yeah, not just what you did.
No, not just what I did. This is
Okay.
like the conversation opener. First of all, like every day I try and fill like my journal with like things I'm grateful for. But one of the things I'm so grateful for is like how many friends are crushing it, and it's so sick. But if you told me like when we first started hanging out like 15 years ago, and this isn't like an insult by any means.
I can already tell
Yeah.
that it's going to be an insult,
Yeah.
so you just give it to me.
But I remember
You thought we wouldn't be shit.
No,
we
not
weren't
that.
going to fucking ever get out of the basement.
No, I remember seeing y'all and thinking it was like the sickest thing I'd ever seen. I don't even think you had a bass player the first time I saw y'all.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh man, this band could be huge. And then I turned to my brother, I was like, what's their name? And he was like, oh, it's Mannequin Pussy. He was like, I take that back, you know? But I think once in a generation, there comes a band that strikes through and defies all the odds. And obviously the music rips. And I don't think you're big just because of the name being a shock factor or anything. But we were talking about this a little earlier off the mic. I think we live in this time where it's like either super industry plants or like one hit wonders for 15 seconds on social media. And if there's one thing I could say that you aren't, is one of those. And I think
Neither of those, yeah.
yeah, it's neither of those. My grammar's not great, but there's an earnestness to you doing everything that you do. And I know sometimes on social media and stuff, you're like, yeah, we're the fucking best. But I know you mean it. And I also think that you can't get to where you are by phoning it in or trying to just be cool. And I just want to say it's cool to see that you're rocking so hard.
Thank you, Ben.
You know? Do you ever think when you're working on your stuff or getting a record ready or going to perform, like, are there any big doubts that cross your mind?
Yeah, I think like not all the time,
Yeah.
but certainly some of the time, those kind of like feelings and thoughts creep into you. But it's more not doubting the place that we're at or the things that we've accomplished. Because I think most artists celebrate like a success for maybe like a maximum of 1 hour.
Yes.
Before you're like freaking out about the next thing.
Mm-hmm.
There's not a lot of time for joy and celebration when you're just like, oh, like what am I gonna do next? What am I gonna? But like not in the creation of content, like just like because you're obsessed with making art and you want to make the next beautiful thing. But yeah, there's like this thought where you're like, will I ever be able to write something again? Will I ever be able to like express myself again in the way that I did, that connected so succinctly with people? And so, I mean, honestly, like a lot of times in the last year, performing and touring is so exhausting. And when it gets to a place in your life where that's how you earn a living and you're also privileged that anyone wants to come see your band in the first place, you have to you need to learn how to turn something on in you that gets you ready to go on stage. And so sometimes I just doubt that I have anything left in the tank to play.
Wait, people want to come see your band? No, I'm kidding. But
you don't want to go toe for me on that.
But it's it's crazy. There's this place of exhaustion that happens, and there's this thing where once your art becomes your reality and you're making a living, I wouldn't say you don't get the same level of stokedness, but there's this thing that happens where all of a sudden all the things that got you to where you need to go have gotten you there. And do you feel like you're still shooting up, or there's this level of personal maintenance you have to do instead?
Well, you have to do personal maintenance in order to get up there, I think, if I understand your question correctly. But it starts to feel a little bit like you're clocking in.
Yeah.
And you're clocking in to being the person that people want to see.
Yeah.
You're clocking into being the person that people paid to see. And sometimes I feel much more quiet and shy than I need to be.
Is there a point in your life or a point in the recent years where you reached your most burnt out?
Yeah.
Okay. What was that like? When did that happen?
Last year. Like total nervous breakdown.
Was it
exhaustion?
Yeah.
Fear. I don't think I've ever been so burnt out in my life, and just started slowly breaking down by being on tour and just constantly being around people performing every night or almost every night for like hundreds if not thousands of people, and slowly, like, I feel like my mind felt like it was poison to be seen. Like I didn't want anyone to fucking look at me.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't want to talk to anyone. And I didn't want to be around anyone. And that's very much not the job.
Yeah. Is it something you think was preventable, like for people who like reach that point where it's like, I remember when Survivor was airing and every week we're at a different party, and then I did the dumb thing of being like, we're going to take advantage of all this screen time and we're going to go on tour throughout the entire process.
Yeah, that was crazy. You did that.
And I was like, this is sick and all my dreams are coming true, but I'm not giving myself a chance to rest and recoup, because you think you have to like chase whatever opportunities given to you, because we live in such a like you need to take what you can get point in our lives of society or something.
Mm-hmm.
Did you feel that in that situation where you started burning out and losing it at the deep end, was it something that you could have gotten ahead of, or was it something that like just hit you like a freight train?
Yeah, I think it just absolutely hit me. I don't think there's anything I could have done differently besides the only way to learn what you need is to figure out what's not working. Mm-hmm. Or like when you start to realize you're like, ooh, like this current way of going through the world is not sustainable and it's not healthy for me. So like I'm very much like a trial by error person. Like I can't possibly hypothesize what it is that I need until I realize that I don't have it, if that makes sense.
100%.
And so like what I really learned last year, in a kind of a sad way too, is that like no one is looking out for you except for you. Like like everyone is so in their own experience and just doing their best to get through it as healthily as they can, that like everyone's first impulse is to say yes to as much stuff as possible, because usually, you know, when something starts kind of popping off in your life creatively and artistically, you start to get a lot of like really exciting opportunities to do, and then like learning how to discern and say no to the things because you actually just need to build in rest for yourself, even though it would be an amazing show to play or you'd get to play with other bands that you absolutely adore or whatever. But like, yeah, we had to figure out how to tour.
Do you feel like I feel like there's almost a guilt when you reach that phase of like, oh, I'm sick now, we got to turn this down and I'm going to lose my mind. And we've worked so hard to get here.
No, I feel no guilt. I feel absolute fucking elation every time we have to turn something down, because I'm like, I remember like coming off the stage of like a show in Germany and just like bursting into tears because I felt like I was so empty and I wasn't giving a good performance.
Yeah.
I was so hard on myself for that. Or feeling like my voice wasn't strong enough or like whatever. Again, like I wasn't being the version of myself that people were paying to see at like the top of my game. And it's like every single show you want to give the best show you've ever.
Of course.
So it's like, it's an impossible standard to set for yourself, but I think that's like what all artists
do. Is it hard for you to wrestle with like what you think the perception of yourself? I'm a big fan of the rock stars that don't really give a fuck what people think. I know everybody gives a fuck about what people think about them. But in your situation specifically, when people are paying money and coming to see someone, do you think that adds to the pressure of having to deliver when you know that you feel like you're kind of ripping at the seams and can't be that version you think everybody's paying for?
Sometimes, but less. Nah, like so much less now. Because I don't really give a fuck what anyone thinks about me or
which is the best attitude.
I just don't like. I'm older.
Yeah.
I'm in my 30s. I don't give a fuck. Like if our band popped off in our 20s, I think I would read every comment, and every negative comment would I would think about it for the rest of my life. But now if I like see a negative comment, I'm like, that's kind of fucked up.
Yeah.
And just like you like let it roll. It's just like, okay, like something's going on there.
Well, I feel like what's funny about that though, sidetrack, is you did come up in an era where press was supreme. Right now, it's like nobody really reads huge magazines in it anymore, and it doesn't really translate to plays as much. And I do remember on some of those early tours, all of us, whether it was you or Colleen or Gorilla Toss, would be so stoked to see what like some magazine would write about us, you know? And it's funny, it's like now that those things aren't central, it's like, I really don't care. I'm just like happy to rock. I think I've reached this point where it's like, it's a privilege that anybody would give a shit. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
And I feel very privileged that I even get to get on stage and make some money doing what I'm doing. But in the earlier days of your band, what are some of like the trials and tribulations you had to deal with when it came to like developing this more confident sense of self?
When I think about how tired I am now,
Yeah.
I don't know how the fuck I did
Yeah.
it then. Because like back then, it was like I was like the band's booking agent and merch manager and merch seller and screen printed the merch and tour managed and booked and did the business management. Like all of those roles. And like, you know, like a slowly over time, like, you know, someone would step in to start selling merch for us on a tour, or like then we could afford someone to like print the merch for us, and then we got our first manager and our first booking agent. But it was just so, you have to be capable of doing so many things that have nothing to do with music and creativity, that I think not every, I would argue that most artists are not.
Yeah.
They don't have the predisposition of the separate types of talents that it takes to like keep a band going. And then that's not even to say what it means. I
want to also add, back at that time, you were also working normal jobs.
Oh yeah, and I had a normal job that I was like clocking in anywhere from like 25 to 50 hours a week.
We went on like the worst tour ever together, maybe like 11 years ago, and I remember. We had played a bunch of places that we had normally done great at, like Silent Barn or the Great Scott. I was like, oh, this tour will be a no-brainer. It'll promote itself, you know? And for some reason, all the promoters dropped the ball. And I remember on like the last day of tour, we're playing some whack house show in New Jersey. And I remember you saying, the thing that sucks the most about this whole experience is that I was so stoked for tour, knowing that I'm going to have to go to work tomorrow, and this tour didn't rock, and I still have to go to work tomorrow. And I think you were working in Fishtown at some bar or something back then.
I was probably working at a coffee shop.
Shop or whatever. Yeah. But I don't
my
think,
minimum wage coffee shop job.
I just think like it's a weird thing too now, whereas I feel like 10 or 15 years ago, you could look at other people doing things and it'd be like, oh, they're doing that, I'm going to do this. They're going to play here, I'm going to play there. They're going to make merch, I'm going to make merch. And now there's no two paths that nearly look identical. You know, it's like, and funnily enough, I think because the world is much more splintered and you don't have this path, it's like led back to ways of being more creative, you know? And I'm not saying, and I'm not talking about in terms of like, oh, I'm going to make content to post 100 times on TikTok. But I feel like we do live in like a weirdly, like obviously the business end of a lot of things is completely cooked, but we live in a time where people have gotten more creative, you know? And you're now in the space where your band is doing really well. You can tour all over the world. It's totally sick. How do you find time to fill the well for your creativity when working on new music? Now you don't have to do all those jobs like screen printing the merch or, you know.
Well, that's when you actually like start to enjoy what it means to be a working artist, where you're carving out time. Like saying no to a show is because we want time to be creative.
Mm-hmm.
Saying no to whatever the fuck it could be.
Yeah.
Is like, no, I actually, like, I need that time for myself. Someone recently was asking me, they're like, oh, do you get like post-tour depression? I was like, no, like I used to, but now it's like, I get post-tour elation. I'm like fucking turned on not to be on tour. I fucking love it. I feel like my brain's actually activated, and I can think and be a human being and take care of my body and like be creative. And I was like, oh, like I wonder like why I used to be so depressed after a tour. I'm like, oh yeah, it's because after I used to finish a brutal tour, like what we used to do is because I used to go to my minimum wage fucking job like the next morning. Like that's why I was depressed. Yeah. Like no matter how bad a tour could be, it was still always 1,000 times better than the reality of clocking into a minimum wage job where you're getting treated like shit by the general public. And like so it was like it was always better. But now it's like, yeah, I feel amazing when I'm not on tour because that's my time to feel the most human.
Yeah. Do you have any routines you do that get you back into creativity or get you into a zone, like a little ritual?
Not on tour.
No, I'm talking off tour. Like forget touring. Now you've got time to be an artist, replenish the well. What are some things you do? I know obviously the world is fucked and it's always easy to take inspiration from things around you, but like I think a lot of people, they suffer from post-tour depression because it's like, oh, this fun roller coaster they've been on for a few weeks or a few months is finally over. It's like, how do you make sense of life? You know, for me, I get home from tour, I'm also stoked now. I'm like,
so stoked.
I'm like, this is crazy. I'm like, I have to remind myself, don't feel guilty to go to a movie and just like turn your brain off or go to a record store and pick out a new record. Not everything needs to be for the sake of your job or keeping your creative wheel going. What are some things you do?
I feel like there's at least a week when I get off tour that I just need to be the most like domestic home goddess version of myself. And that is like, I meditate in the morning, I exercise in the early afternoon, I spend like an hour just laying and thinking about what I might want to make for dinner.
Cool.
And then like thinking about, and like all of that makes me feel like one of the luckiest people in the world.
Yeah.
That I could like wake up and just think about how I want to spend that day. Because that's ultimately like what the freedom and to have the energy to be creative is like just being in charge of your own time. Like when your time belongs to someone else or belongs to something else, or you're like required to show up in some way, how do you access that part of you? So it's like, I get like all that stuff done, and then I enjoy like deep cleaning my house and just making like different teas and concoctions. And then like when all that shit is done, when I feel like I've been like fed and nourished for a week, then I get into the practice of like picking up my guitar every day and like going through demos and just starting to read. Like I have like a list of books I want to read that I get into, and watching movies and like just enjoying other cultural
I try to
forms
do
of
this
entertainment.
thing. Like it's funny you're saying all that because I was reaching extreme burnout last month, or maybe like 2 months ago. I was finally getting home from all this touring.
I know. I worry about
traveling. I worry about myself too, but I got home and I was like, I'm actually stoked to be home. You know what I'm going to do? I'm not going to like doom scroll. I'm not really going to watch TV or listen to music. I'm going to like do like a mental cleanse. I'm going to get really hyped on cleaning my apartment.
That's what I'm talking about.
I was like, started to doom scroll a little bit. I was like, this sucks. Let me fill the time up. But like my parents are chefs, and I'm like, you know what? What would my parents do? So I like purposely went to like a food Instagram so my algorithm could change into food.
Yep.
I started picking all the best TikTok recipes, like the spicy pastas and all this stuff. And now I spend at least, it's the same thing. I wake up, I meditate. Afternoon, I'll do a big hike. But I get so hyped on the hike because I end my hike at the grocery store. And I go, what thing am I going to teach myself? What thing am I going to teach myself to cook today? Right? And now I actually feel like nourished and rested as a person. I've got shows and things coming up, but I'm like, I'm going to allow myself to do this like guilt-free. And you know what's been the byproduct of that as of like a few weeks ago? Been playing my guitar every day. I'm like all of a sudden watching new movies and like, maybe let me try and write about that or see what I can do. Doodling every day. And I think we live in like I think artists suffer from this thing of they think they have to make it, and a little bit of hype comes in, and all of a sudden you're like choking it, you know? And for a lot of people, they don't ever step into their power because they're worried about this.
I feel like
thing.
I'm not choking it. It's choking me.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, fuck. Like, please let me like just live for a little bit.
Yeah.
So that I can feel like I have a connection to something other than performing.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's just a certain point where you feel like you are a clown.
Yeah.
And like we're a traveling circus. Like everyone like gets on the tour bus at night, you sleep on a moving vehicle, you wake up and the fucking clown car rolls in. And then
you go to the doctor.
10 of us fucking roll out of this bus and then we're just like, yeah.
It's the kind of thing where you go to the doctor and the doctor's like, there's this clown in town tonight. And it's like,
oh yeah.
Yeah. I feel like, I feel like that meme all the time. When you feel super spent, I'm curious as a friend and as a fan of your music. Sometimes people like hit these giant creative blocks and like, how am I ever going to write anything as good as that last song that was the thing, the anchor for me? What are some songs in your career that you wrote after like a hard break or a creative wall or a burnout that felt like it greased the wheel and got you stoked about music again?
I mean, working on the last record, like working on I Got Heaven was like one of the most joyful creative experiences of my life. And it was entirely because so much time had passed since we had been in the studio, since we had been creative, since we'd all been in a room together trying to make music. And then the additions of like John Congleton and Maxine, our new lead guitarist, shout out to my BFF, Maxine, who I love. But like she is my like fucking like she's my rock, and she's like one of the greatest inspirations to me. Like she just comes up with so many incredible riffs, and it makes my job easier as
she's as funny
a singer
as she is as good at guitar.
I know, which is amazing. She's amazing.
She could be a comedian if you ask me. What was the first song that came out of like that whole? Do you remember?
Out of those sessions?
Yeah.
Nothing Like had been around for a long time. I had written that like a long time ago, and we were trying to like workshop it. I don't know, You came out pretty soon sometimes. I Got Heaven. I remember Okay started as like a vocal affectation. I kept hearing in my head. Like I kept hearing like, okay. And then we all got together, and then Kayleen started playing that drum beat. And then Maxine and Bear started filling in the riffs between.
Sick.
I don't know, whatever.
Are you?
The point is, I'm in also a very privileged position where I haven't tried to go this alone.
Yeah.
Like I am obsessed with my bandmates. I am obsessed with collaboration, creative collaboration. I don't feel, nor do I want to do anything alone. I love being able to make it with other people. Like I don't, it's not,
I'm so over it.
It's not at all what I want. Like when I was younger and I dreamt of being in a band, I didn't dream of being a rock star. I dreamt of being in a band. I dreamt of being in that sort of like living in a collaborative creative world with other people and growing together as artists. That's always what I wanted. Was like, I think I was I think also like, like when you're younger, maybe you don't have a lot of friends and you get picked on, you're like, wouldn't it be so great if I just like had friends that I like could do cool shit with all around the world, and then like suddenly your dreams come true.
What was the first time you picked up a musical instrument?
Well, like when they made me. Well, because they made me play violin. No, they made me play flute when I was younger.
Brutal.
And I really, this still pisses me off actually, is that we were in middle school. I don't remember which grade. I want to say like second. And we had to do band. And I was like, I want to play drums. I always wanted to play drums. That was the first instrument I ever wanted to play. I loved rock music from a young age. And I was always like, the drummer is the sick. Like, that's what I want.
Yeah.
We get to band.
I wanted to play drums too, by the way.
Yeah.
I wanted to be Tommy Lee. My mom said no.
Shout out to every fucking parent who lets their kids play drums, because it's the one member of the band that's the hardest to find.
Yep.
And who isn't in like 17 fucking projects, but whatever. I digress. So we're in middle school band, and I'm like, I want to play fucking drums. I want to be on the percussion. And the band leader, whatever, is like, I think you would be better at flute. And I'm like, I don't understand why you're saying that. I don't know if it's because I'm 4'2" and like 25 pounds, or like, I don't know why you keep telling me I would be really good at flute. Like, I want to play drums. And then I do remember showing up the first day to band, and like they won, and I had to play the flute. And suspiciously, all the boys were playing drums.
Posers.
And all the girls were playing flute. And at a young age, this really pissed me off. From a very young age in my life, I've been getting pissed off about shit.
I mean, that's like somebody telling you.
And I don't forget it.
Yeah.
It's like, that was, I don't even know how long ago now, but it still pisses me off now that I think about it. Why didn't they let me play the drums?
Do you think, I mean, I guess any authority sucks, but that's somebody telling you to do something for a preconceived notion if all the boys are playing drums, which don't rock. And the joke's on them, because you're rocking for a living.
Because now I don't play flute or drums.
Exactly. What was the moment you decided to rock, though?
I wanted to rock so bad in high school. We had a bunch of friends of ours were in bands, and again, it was like only something that the boys did, but I like wanted to be in a band so bad. And me and two friends had a very short-lived band called Simon and the Mofos, and I played guitar and was singing, but it never went beyond like a few practices.
Was there a Simon and the Mofo song?
Dude, I don't even know if a single song got written.
Okay.
Like, it was,
Do you remember the first song you ever wrote?
I do, actually. I wrote some, like, when I was like a little kid, I used to like kind of write like little jingles in my head a lot if I would see something. And I remember like writing this like little song about a dog playing with a ball.
Cool.
And yeah, and then I would just like kind of just sing in my head a lot.
That was kind of the same thing for me. I had a music class, and I don't think the teacher had any inkling that I was serious about music in like first or second grade. But I'd write all these doodles, and I had a little cassette player. It's like the most hipster thing to be like, I had a tape player first. But I would record all of them, and I recently found the tape.
Oh, amazing.
And are you one of those people that like thinks like if a song doesn't make a record that like it wasn't good enough so you don't revisit it? Or are you the kind of person that combs through demos once in a while?
I think I have a really good ear for the potential of something. And so I like to, maybe this is like a little, I'm so somewhere between type A and type B personalities, but like the type A version of myself is like, I'll hear a song and I like put it into the category of like, that's an A song, that's a B song with potential to be A.
Yeah.
That's a B, or like that's just trash.
You always need a B song though anyway.
Yeah.
So
I think my job as the like front person now is like when everyone is working on a song, I think especially in these like collaborative spaces, every player is generally only really hearing what they're doing. When you're like, if you're in a room with people and like you're just like, let's say you're playing bass, what your ear is going to be hearing is mostly just like what you're doing.
Yeah.
And like that's what I've noticed about like band dynamics is people are only really listening. This is not a negative thing or positive. It's just simply an observation that people are only really listening to what they're doing. And then my job as the front person is to zoom out and be able to hear the whole thing as the song and not the individual parts, and then make notes and directions as to what piece everyone's doing is affecting the song.
Yeah.
I forgot how we got on this topic.
Oh, I was asking you if you think that, based on your first song, do you think there's no song can't be saved or no idea?
I don't know, man.
Yeah.
I think some songs are just like, they're just, not every song is meant to be heard or shared.
But you know what's crazy? I mean, this doesn't even have to make the edit, but Seal, I guess, got signed and he wrote Kiss from a Rose and never used it. And then his producer asked for a bunch of cassette tapes of his because he would also have the cassette player and just doodle stuff. Records the song like 6 years after he wrote it. Does okay. Like 5 years after that, Batman Forever comes out.
Oh.
And that song
and
gets
needed a song.
And then that song gets chosen and it becomes like first cassette I ever bought.
I have learned that in the world of syncs.
Yeah.
Kill me. It's good to have those songs in your pocket.
Yeah.
to be like, like we have this song that we like never put out on the record, but like we got it.
Yeah.
Because like it's such a strange thing to me. I don't even like totally understand it, but like you'll get hit up or they're like, hey, do you have like any unreleased, perfectly recorded and produced songs just like laying around that we could use and whatever? And I'm like, no, like I don't have that. I think people really think making music is easy.
I don't think they realize it's like the most excruciating, soul crushing experience for at least artists who are serious. It's like laying yourself out there and then having to go and get it recorded and finished.
It's emotional torture and it's embarrassing.
You know what I'm saying? I do feel like being a musician is the most.
But it's an incredible thing.
Well, going on like reality TV was so easy because you get liked for being yourself, you know? And it's like the easiest accolades I've ever gotten. It's like, loved you on Survivors. Like all I did was hang out, you know?
It's still so strange to me that you were on Survivor.
I know. It's strange for me too. But then it's like...
I showed a photo of you actually recently. I just want to say this to hype you up. I showed a photo of you recently. I was like, oh, like I'm going to see my friend Ben. And I think they were a fan of Survivor. And but maybe they hadn't watched your season. Tick ticks. And I showed them a photo of you. And they're like, wow, I can't believe someone looked that handsome on the island.
Wow. I will say there was a lot of Reddit threads.
Did they color? Did they do like coloring for your eyes?
No, there's just this thing that happens. Listen, I told you I've been trying the keto diet. Yeah. The island diet's crazy because you don't eat for like 8 or 9 days.
Fucked up.
But then you're covered in like dirt and you're in salt water every day. Does amazing things for your skin.
Oh.
And because you're not eating any processed food or sugar, your teeth go white within like a week. Dude.
What?
It's nuts, dude. It's nuts. I would never recommend it, but going on Survivor,
after hearing some of your Survivor stories, not that I've ever in my life been like, oh yeah, that's something. No, I would never. I would never do it.
Well, I would say, funnily enough, the closest thing to prep me for Survivor
was tour,
where it was like the tour I mentioned earlier, where there was no money, we were barely eating. And it's like you're fighting to win. You want to win over whatever that crowd's going to be.
Oh my God.
And sometimes...
all 15 of them.
Yeah. And sometimes you just don't win. Sometimes people don't want to be impressed. You know what I'm saying? No matter how far you get, whether it's in the game of Survivor or the game of rock, you know? And I thought about that tour a lot because I was like, oh, this is definitely going to change when I get home. Not that I was like in that bad a place with my music career before I left. And... funnily enough, I got home from the airport. I told like maybe 5 people I was going on the show or something, you know?
Are you allowed to admit that you broke your...
At this, it's over a year. It's like, fuck it, you know? Plus, they're all like a lot of the...
care about an
weirdly
NDA.
enough, I remember when you played at the Fonda Theater, like I brought some Survivor producers because they were fans.
Oh, yeah.
To come see your band.
Well, that was last year. That was after the show had already come out.
That was while it was airing.
Oh, I was airing.
But I remember I got home and I was like, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to walk my dog and then I'm going to take a bath. And
then
I took
called
a bath.
you.
And as I sat in the bath, I was like, I'm going to turn my phone off. You called me right away. You're like, hey, Ben, Bear can't do a couple dates.
He's got a wedding.
I might need you to fill in. And I was like, you don't want to ask where I've been? I haven't posted on the internet for like 2 months.
That's not how I remember it. How I remember it is I called you and you're like, what's up, dude? And then I was like, what's going on, Ben? How are you? And you're like, nothing. Just sitting in the bubble bath. Just got back from Fiji. And I was just like, what were you doing in Fiji, homie? And you're like, I was filming like a reality show. And I said, like Survivor? And you said, not like, homie. And that's how I remember the conversation.
And that's our clip. Yeah, that was sick. I don't know how we got up on
I don't know about this not asking you what you were doing shit. I should have been more worried maybe that you hadn't posted online, but sometimes people just need to step back.
Oh yeah, now I only post like promo stuff. I'm like,
now I have someone who posts for me.
So sick. Let me get their number.
I will. Shout out to Courtney.
I'm so over the whole turning your life into like a whole thing. Did you think at all, because I'm dealing with this now, because when Survivor was airing, it was like, I think that was when I reached my end with like posting about myself, because you're being told by CBS you have to all the time. You know?
Oh, really? They tell you
Oh,
that?
yeah. They're like, you got to post about the show and give a little insight and all that stuff.
Yeah, because they really need help with the viewers.
Yeah, exactly, right?
But
But
it's still like what, the most watched reality show of all time?
it is, and now it's
Shout out to Survivor.
yeah. Let's not give them. We're gonna bleep that out.
Shout out to
But I don't know. I think as a creative, it takes away from your main medium when you think like everything you do has to be postable or whatever, you know?
Yeah, I think that was part of the reason that I like had a nervous breakdown last year, is because at that time I was still like doing all the posting and stuff for you, and I was just like, this is so fucking unnatural to me.
Yeah.
To be, no one is meant to see this many photos of themselves every fucking day, be sharing their image because that's what people want to see. Like I was becoming really, really jealous of the like rock stars and bands of the past, where I was like, they didn't, like, not only did they not have to do this shit, people did not have 24/7 access to them.
Yeah.
Like, getting more popular comes with people seeking you out.
Yeah.
To tell you what a piece of shit they think you
Not
are.
you laying it out there for
It's
them
like,
to tell you.
yeah, it's like it's not even like your own internal
Mm-hmm.
dialogue that I think we all have of like, you know, wanting to be the best at what you're doing and making art, you know? But the advent of the way that we communicate now is like, someone could seek you out any time of day just to be like, I fucking hate you.
Yeah.
I think you're a piece of shit. I think you make the worst music I've ever heard. Also, I think you're fucking ugly. And it's like, it's crazy that people have that much unfettered access to you. And I was like, this is starting to make me feel fucking sick. Cause like, you don't care what people think of you, because you are like, I know what I'm doing. I'm confident in the art that I'm making. I'm confident in myself as a performer. But on the other hand, there is this kind of like psychic residue in the air when you like feel that people are like trying to get access to you. And it really ramped up like last year of like more people loving us than ever before, but also, and I will say more specifically men
Yeah.
being like,
Challenged by your awesomeness.
you are the worst. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like, it's like, and I hate to be, it's usually just like some dude who is bitter that, you know, their dream, just to see a woman living your dream. And maybe that's just really hard for people.
Yeah,
I don't really know.
I don't know.
I'm not sure. I'm really worried about men though. I am, like, as much, the more that men try to make me hate them, the
Yeah.
more resolved I am to not succumbing to misandry.
I swear, it's like you're cut out for Survivor.
I know that their anger is coming from a place of some sort of unresolved hurt and rage.
Well, it's also too, not to sound basic, but I think the thing that worries me as a dude is the rhetoric I see in the public, whether it's this administration or anything, is like giving a lot of false promises to people under pretenses that they're owed something because of that, and that somebody like you or like a Zoran Mamdani or whatever is like taking their job or their place in the world, as if we didn't have a place in the world too. And I think that's ramped up now more than ever.
Yeah.
What I think is just so funny about hating on somebody like you is you fucking rock. You know what I mean? Like, it should just be simple enough, you know?
Yeah, I mean, that's why I'm at least lucky. And I would like to get back to a point you made about this administration, but like, that's why I'm lucky now that if someone wants to seek me out to talk some shit, I can be like, all right.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Have you ever engaged?
That's fine.
Have you ever engaged backclap in the comments?
I think maybe I used to more, but now it's like,
Yeah.
I'll only engage if I think something has been like horrifically sexist or offensive. Not even to me, because sometimes people fight with each other in the comments. Yeah. And I have stepped in when people are like, she's a typical like man hater, like she's this, she's that, and I'm like, I don't hate men. Again, it's like, you guys can keep trying to make me hate you, and like
she loves me. It's true.
Yeah, I'm like, there's plenty of men in my life who I fucking love and respect. But I refuse to give in to the idea of the gender war, which for some reason like red pilled men are they have convinced themselves that women like me hate them. And I don't want to give any power to that. Because like I don't, the people I hate are people. It's not like a gendered experience.
Yeah. And
the people that I hate are mostly people in power.
Yeah.
They're not even people like I know personally. They're just people I know who like have made the entire planet a more inhospitable and violent place to live.
Not that we got to get into this on the pod, but I'm like, I am actually shook by like, and I'm breaking character, whatever. I'm actually shook by like the alligator Alcatraz.
No, I mean, I think you should keep it. Yeah,
let's keep it in. I'm not shocked by it, which is what scares me so much. It's like we're constantly informed about all the chaotic stuff coming to us, constantly distracted by the Charlie Kirks and the whoever saying things to make people feel more entitled while we're still getting fucked. You're hearing about all these cargo planes and El Salvador, and at the end of the day, it's like it ultimately feels powerless, right? And for me, I believe like rock music or any art is a great tool to bring people together or just put energy or provoke some thought. And I don't know, it's just scary. It's like now it's getting to a point where like people aren't going to be able to afford doing art, and social media has already been bought by all these giant tech companies. And with, you know, all this like fake art flooding the market too, it's like I think real thought points are going to be silenced, and hopefully people get together in the real world. But I'm just like, at what point does anything happen? These people, forget the red versus blue, but even with the blue, like these Chuck Schumers and stuff go on stage and they do these 14-hour rants, like reading the whole bill. I'm like, what's that going to do? It's not even going to garner you headlines anymore. And even if it did, like a clickbait article is not going to change the world because you did some performative piece.
Yeah.
And
I think what's really sad, I think David Mamet said this, that politics is entertainment for ugly people.
Yeah.
Or maybe it
Celebrity
was
for ugly people.
It was well he talked about, actually I don't think he said that. I think Roger Stone said that.
Okay.
Absolute piece of shit.
Roger Stone does not rock.
No. I think anyone who has like a fucking tattoo of Nixon on their back definitely does not rock. I think seeing politicians as people that we're supposed to like is so bizarre to me. The idea, like the idolatry that kind of comes with modern politics is like these are teams, and they're being presented to us as like sports teams and entertainment, and you pick a team, and no matter what your team does, you like ride or die for them. That doesn't make any sense to me. No, like that's not what politics, like the whole idea of like what a civil service is that you are working for the people that elected you. But obviously corporations have done an extraordinary job of buying off every single one of our politicians. And something I talk about like at every single one of our shows now is like reminding people that in this stage of capitalism that we're in is that you are constantly being trained, whether it's obvious to you or not. Everything around you, politically speaking, is training you to see everyone else as your competition. Mm-hmm. It's training you to see your neighbors, your friends, your fucking family, strangers as standing in the way of your success. Yeah. And it is so diabolical to start to get people, like I've been seeing so many news articles lately that's like, this is the easiest way or like the most common way that Americans are now becoming billionaires. Like being a billionaire is a job. Like being a billionaire is the thing that we should all be.
That's like the goal, and we're being
that's the goal. And I'm just like, I don't, obviously like from an artist perspective, like the idea of being a billionaire is meaningless because like you only get to be a billionaire by desecrating workers' rights and stealing from other people and things like that. But like we're getting too comfortable in society that like greed is the ultimate motivator, and that like if and it's when I say it's diabolical, I also mean it just because I think that is the current political system trying to work overtime to get people to become these hyper individual portraits of themselves. And if you are all alone and you feel like you got no one and everyone is your enemy, you're going to be so fucking easy to control. because you're going to go paranoid thinking that everyone's trying to get what you have. And it's like, that's why I feel like people being in touch with their rage and their anger and knowing how to process it is so important, because it's unprocessed rage, it's unprocessed anger that starts to then poison your mind against everyone else. And then you believe the fucking propaganda and the fucking bullshit.
Yeah. I mean, I feel a lot of people don't have healthy outlets. It's why I feel like, I know it's a cliche, but that's why I think rocking out's so important. It's a controlled energy that also gives a whole room full of people, a place to have a healthy outlet. And that's what scares me about the competition angle, is like, we have been conditioned into competition. Social media with the, this post didn't get the right amount of likes, and you start judging yourself.
Oh, yeah.
And then you start judging other people who are getting the likes and their looks. And then Spotify, I'm talking from an artist perspective, but it relates to everything. Spotify with the amount of monthly listeners. And it's like, I feel like I've been trained to never feel good enough. And I'm like, am I making a living? Yeah. Am I with my friends? Yeah. Are we crushing it? But then these weird quantifications, and that's very much in my world, right? And now you see all these things happening. You realize this isn't every world. This isn't just where I'm at. And it scares me because I don't know what will topple any of it. And you have to look forward to your little victories, or else you'll go crazy taking all the bad stuff in. And for me, the little victories are getting to cook a meal, are getting to make music, are getting to rock out. And I don't know where I'm going with it, but it is like, it does scare me when you hear certain rhetoric come up, and people, it's almost like they're falling for the script and adopting it themselves, and it's like, why are certain ways of living so bad if we're all looking out for each other? It's like we're trained to not look out for each other. And I think that's just happening more and more. I don't know how to end that rant, but you know what I'm trying to say.
I absolutely do.
Yeah.
It's something I think about every day of my life. I'm like, I think that's part of, it's hard not to ask yourself, I think, in any time, but like, what is the role of an artist in society?
Well, it's like, I think when you get down to the brass tacks of what is an artist in society, it's like an artist's job, I think, is to use their self-reflection and their talent to at least provoke thought or something, and regardless of success, did you express yourself? Did you feel good? Did you feel like you made something awesome? Do you feel like you changed at least one life? And do you feel like you changed your own life?
Yeah.
That's what I think. So I try to not think about the big picture.
And if that
so
is
much.
the metric by which you are putting your life and seeing what you put out, it is going to be so much easier to be satisfied.
Then we're Gene Simmons. We're doing great. We're
going to be fine.
Yeah.
But yeah, if the metric is X amount of followers on this or that or this or whatever, it's like,
it's empty.
No,
then
it'll never be enough.
Yeah. I guess what worries me so much too is like, we've also been promised, as not just artists, but entrepreneurs or creatives, we've been promised that all these like social media outlets where now everybody gets their news, becomes the place everybody blows their steam off with content and making stuff. We've kind of been promised like, oh, you can win the lottery and hit it big on here and all this stuff. And now the things, like Spotify originally was like, oh, it's a social media platform for music and you can get on playlists and all this stuff. And now all these companies are not investing in artists. They're giving backdoor deals to their friends who are making
or
fake
investing
music.
in
and
AI
using
military.
that money to invest in the military, I didn't mean to get so bleak. It has been on my mind all day, but
that's also the dilemma, is like balancing how bleak everything feels with then the resolve to keep creating in the face of destruction.
Yeah.
And I think ultimately we are in the downfall of colonialism.
I think so too.
It's just going to be like a pretty intense.
If the downfall of colonialism looked like the downfall of the Soviet Union, right? What would be your dream rock concert that you could throw the same way Metallica and AC/DC played in Russia? What would be or David Hasselhoff?
They played in Russia for...
Oh yeah, it was Scorpions had Winds of Change. Hasselhoff played at the falling of the Berlin Wall.
What?
And then Metallica
that I
and
knew.
AC/DC came to rock Moscow.
Who would be my lineup
be your dream lineup?
for the end of colonialism?
Yeah.
Ooh, fuck.
Pretty sick, right?
Great question.
That's. I mean, I guess I would want to say ourselves. I'd like to be on that.
No,
lineup.
Mannequin Pussy's on the bill.
Yeah, okay, we're on the bill.
This is decided.
We're on the bill.
Pick one bigger. And pick two lower. Okay. And you got yourself a bill.
I got myself a bill. Okay.
Only a 4-band bill for the end of colonialism.
Dude, Monsters of Rock.
I mean,
The Wall Will Fall tour, dude.
I kind of keep going to Oasis in my head. I feel like Oasis is like a great unifier.
Yeah.
And if you say you don't like Oasis,
You're a poser.
yeah, like what the fuck
Yeah.
are you talking about? You don't like music?
Mm-hmm.
You don't like really good songwriting?
Yeah.
Okay. That's crazy.
All right, we got Oasis.
I would have Oasis there, especially because I don't know if Oasis would care.
Yeah.
And so like maybe they're not a good pick for that, but
But I think there's something to that. I don't think AC/DC would care, but they're like, let's go rock.
yeah.
And that's kind of, it shouldn't be so heavy just because it's the thing.
I want a band that's like kind of like the everyman's rock band.
Yeah.
But like bridges generations too. And like who can do that really?
All right, so you got Oasis. What would be your what the fuck pick? Like, what would be the band you choose to open that the audience wouldn't know how to process?
Oh, well, I think they would know how to process her, but I would want Pink Pantheress there too.
Oh, that'd be cool too.
Yeah, I would want her there for sure. And then, yeah, I feel like we would kind of be going like pop Joy World.
You could.
The end of colonialism does sound very brat. Excuse me for saying that.
Yeah.
I know we're like a year past this, but I'm like, oh yeah, like
But just to be clear, it's
That would be
Charlie
s-
XCX before Mannequin Pussy, before
no,
Oasis.
we would be opening. I know
Okay.
our place. I know our place. Yeah, it's like this is slowly not becoming a rock concert.
You could have 2 and 2.
Oh,
You
okay.
know. It's a unifier.
These are the questions you got to tell me beforehand.
I think we did pretty good though.
You got another couple two questions? What you got?
I don't know. Should we tell like a funny story or something? You know, like
Do you want to tell the story about?
the time in Western Mass.
I feel like
That's
is
too much.
too like.
I'll tell you the
We'll
story.
tell this off camera.
Because you
but
know everybody in the
this-
story.
I'll say this: we're not going to tell this story on camera, but this story is fucking crazy.
It will come out in a book one day.
It is maybe one of. I don't want to say it was definitely not the worst night of my life, but it was like where I got pushed so close to my own personal hell and cliff.
I just remember the next.
But I handled it.
You did, and I remember the next morning. There was like a no nonsense attitude. I'd never seen everybody on their best behavior until the next morning. And I was like, why? What happened? Because I didn't know what was going on the whole time. Well, you're not hearing the story, but anyway. It's so good. And
It's a really good
And it
story.
involves a classic character.
Yeah, who we both kind of have impressions of.
That's all
But
you have to say.
I feel like an unflattering story of me would be good, of how I am not a morning person,
Yeah.
but you came on a cruise with us. And I think about this all the time when I was so like I hadn't slept at all on this cruise. I think this was like day 2 of me not sleeping.
This is the first cruise I went on with you, right? Just checking.
Yeah, the second one hasn't happened yet. But yeah, the second one is in the schedule. I think about like the lazy river.
Oh, yeah. My favorite thing is Marisa sucks in the morning. I love you. But it's like she sleeps with like all these contraptions to block out noise. And it's like, it's fine.
light.
People have their own things, but like the slightest move is
I'm a
like,
sensitive
it's
sleeper.
like, what the fuck is happening in this room? And it's totally cool. I get it. Beauty
Now
sleep.
I'm in a bunk, I don't care.
Yeah.
But back when we had to like share hotels and floors.
I think that was that like one of the last tours where you were staying in hotels like that?
Yeah.
And staying in like Super 8 motels and sharing 3 people to a room.
Yeah.
Anyways, it was like the end of like a grueling run, and we got on the cruise, and cruises are just weird in general, you know? And you had something like 4 performances on the cruise.
Something like that, yeah.
Nobody was sleeping. I was also still on my not sleeping from Survivor tip. I don't know if you remember hearing me in the room next door. I got this.
Also, I would like to say, I did hear that.
Yeah.
I would like to say, I don't suck in the morning. I just have my own energetic level that I'm operating on. And everyone knows who tours with me. It's just better not to talk to me in the morning until I make first contact.
100%.
I have to make contact.
But it was a rough couple of days. And we finally got to like the cruise, got to like a parking spot in the Dominican Republic.
Yeah, they park the, like, you've already been on this like completely kind of like, sorry, but like a horrific holiday to me. Like a cruise to me just doesn't.
You're just surrounded by a ton of drunk people who are partying their ass off and don't understand you don't want to party like that because you got to like perform and take care of yourself. And like the hallways are loud and it's just never chill, and you're never not suffering from like vertigo or whatever. And I remember y'all were like, I don't know if I fuck with cruises. Like that was the conversation the whole time. And I was stoked because Bill and Ted was on like constantly on the TV.
Oh yeah.
And finally we're getting off the cruise and we're like, fuck that. Let's just like have a day, like whatever. And then we got to the resort and like my mission was I saw all these coconuts getting filled with alcohol, and there was pina coladas, and there was a lazy river. And
which, if you don't know what a lazy river is, do you know what a lazy river is?
Me?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
It's like you sit on a tube in a river that moves very slowly.
It's amazing.
The audience might know.
And all of a sudden, like I have it on video, but it's like Marissa's in line, like slowly ramping up. I thought it was like the verge of like a breakdown or something, but I just was like, I'm here for the team.
But I was actually getting ramped up. What you said to me has stuck with me since then, which is, quote, I've never seen anyone go from 0 to 100 that quick.
Wait, I can find the video. The video's great.
I went from fuck this, fuck everyone around me, I haven't slept in days, I'm just like perpetually, I'm losing my fucking mind. I don't want to be here, to seeing the lazy river and then immediately being flooded with the most joy I had felt.
I want to make sure I got the right video pulled up, okay?
You know, we're making memories drinking rum out of a pineapple on the lazy river in the Dominican Republic before we shred a show.
Wait, that's not the one. Hold up.
What's that?
I've got it, though. I know I've got it.
Yeah, I'm not even really sure. You know.
There's me just doing every take of a 10-second Instagram story. I'm going to find it. We're going to overlay it, but here it is.
I had such a good day. I had so much fun.
Yeah, dude, look at that. It was sick. Anyways, Marissa, it's been a blast to have you. And I'm glad we got deep because I think people need to hear all that stuff and realize that everything's approachable as long as they know how to approach themselves.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
That's beautifully said.
And thank you for tuning in. Hardstyle, you rock. Sam, we're about to tell you that story though. Yeah.